The Right Honorable Speaker of the Revitalized State Legislative Assembly, the Honorable Deputy Governor, the Honorable State Advisors, Honorable Ministers, the Speaker and the Deputy Speaker of Upper Nile, Honorable members of the reconstituted State Transitional Legislative Assembly, Honorable Chairpersons of Commission and Independent Institutions, the Honorable County Commissioners, and His Worship the Mayor of Juba City and the deputies, members of the Diplomatic Corps and the development partners, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. On this auspicious occasion, I take this opportunity on behalf of the government and the people of Central Equatoria State to thank and congratulate His Excellency Salva Kiir Mayardit, the President of the Republic of South Sudan, the First Vice President, the Vice Presidents, and all the parties to the Revitalized Agreement on the resolution of conflict in the Republic of South Sudan for their courageous commitment to advance the cause of peace in the country. We say congratulations. As a result of the commitment and determination to implement the RCs, we have witnessed the establishment and formation of governments at different levels, including the legislative assemblies, except the county legislative councils. I take this privilege to assure our citizens that these councils shall soon be announced, as we have already done so with Juba City Council. I'm therefore honored to officiate over the inauguration ceremony of a Revitalized State Transitional Legislative Assembly. This is yet to reconfirm to the people of Central Equatoria State that the commitment of the parties to the Revitalized Peace Agreement to implement the RRCs in letter and spirit. In this regard, allow me to congratulate the honorable members of this August House for winning the trust and confidence of your respective parties that recommended you for appointment to the August House. Congratulations, honorable members. I also want to thank you for patiently waiting for this historical day to unfold, and I call you to show renewed hope to our citizens. As we have reached this stage, let us leave behind the memories of the setbacks, but rather focus on doing what is expected of us as a government in our endeavors to meeting the aspirations of our citizens. Today's event is a great relief to the state government executive leadership as the Assembly assumes its full responsibility to handle the roles and duties of its oversight mandate. I further want to seize this golden chance to inform the August House of the existing harmonious and collegial spirit of work among members of the State Cabinet. This is demonstrated in the manner in which all members of the Cabinet participate effectively in every government business and assignment entrusted unto them without any inclination towards party affiliations. In the interest of enhancing our unity of purpose, we have committed ourselves to cooperate extensively by consensus to deliver service to our citizens. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, the inauguration and swearing in of honorable members of the State Transitional Legislative Assembly today mark an important milestone in the process of the full implementation of the provision of Chapter 1 of the RRCs in our state. Equally, the occasion of today is a giant step forward in the promotion of multi-party system and tenets of democratic governance in Central Equatoria State. At this juncture, I would want to emphasize to all the parties that our mandate shall be to collectively implement the Revitalized Peace Agreement to rebuild hope and confidence, reconcile our citizens to live in harmony, improve and deliver our services, and prepare our citizens for the forthcoming elections at the end of the interim period. Therefore, I urge the honorable members to embrace the spirit of working together as a team, minimize party-related differences to avoid negative consequences on our people. As you exercise your mandate, ensure that the will of the people prevails over your party affiliations and strive to drive your decisions collectively and individually to achieve the vision of a united, peaceful, and prosperous state through the motto, people first. With the aforementioned spirit, I have strong conviction and belief that you will diligently contribute to help improve on the course of actions and events in the state to push this state forward. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, after the country was reverted to the current 10 states on the 15th of February 2020, delays occurred in full formation of the state governments. The appointment of the state governors took place in June of the same year, while the state cabinets were reconstituted and appointed 7 months later. In Central Equatoria State, the cabinet was reconstituted on 20th of February 2021. Since then, the government is functioning and has registered some achievements, which include, among others, the full establishment of the state and the local government institutions as required by the RRCs, except the County Legislative Council, as stated earlier, with the exception of Juba City Council. Renovation and furnishing of some state government ministries and offices. Unification and redeployment of the state human resource from the 3 defunct states of Jubek, Terekeka, and Yei River, which now constitute the Central Equatoria State. Procurement of vehicles for government, for state government, including 3 ambulances donated to Juba, Terekeka, and Morobo counties, respectively. While plans are underway to procure more to meet the needs of other areas, especially those located in the rural areas. Procurement of road equipment, completion and the construction of some local government office blocks designated as county headquarters in the defunct Jubek State. Jointly with His Excellency the Vice President of the Republic, who is also the chair of the Economic Cluster, repaired Juba Lobonok Road. Construction and completion of the state guest house, which is currently used as a residence to the government. Payment of contractual financial obligations incurred by previous administrations of Central Equatoria State, defunct Jubek, Terekeka, and Yei River states. Procurement of beds and mattresses to Terekeka Hospital. Rehabilitation of St. Charles Luanga Primary School in Morobo County. Induction of members of the cabinet. Conducted commissioners forum. Held the 2 cross-border secret meeting with the local authorities of the 5 border districts of local governments of West Nile region in the Republic of Uganda. Organized and conducted state planning conferences with support of development partners, especially UNMIS and UNDP. And I want to acknowledge the head of UNMIS in Central Equatoria is around Gita Pios in this August house. Initiated e-government system to digitalize the tax collection system, land registry, waste disposal, and etc., which is at advanced stage of launching. Initiated and conducted peace and reconciliation dialogue conferences among communities in Lanya, Terekeka, Yei River, and Juba counties. Paid engagement visit to the 6 counties to disseminate the RRCs, to encourage voluntary return of displaced populations and enable the state leadership acquaint itself with the general situation of our citizens. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the state government has further gone ahead to formulate a state development plan anchored on 6 strategic thematic policy direction pillars, namely, 1 is the security, stabilization, and peace building. Number 2, economic recovery through agriculture and investment. Number 3 is access to social services and justice. Number 4 is dignified return, resettlement, and reintegration management. Number 5, good neighborhoodness. 6, making Juba City and other urban centers clean, green, and safe. The details of these policy pillars will be expounded during the presentation of the state policy statement to this August House in the next few weeks. Honorable Speaker, we intended to make this statement as inaugural statement. I want to announce here, we will be having a policy statement on the eve of the presentation of the budget. That will give a strategic direction of all what we have outlined in detail of all the institutions of government. So within the context of the State Development Plan, the government has further advanced the below projects for implementation as here under. Rehabilitation of Terekeka Tindilo Tali Road, rehabilitation of 49.5 miles road in Liria Payam of Juba County, rehabilitation of Kiju Bridge in Lanya County, construction of maternity hospital in Juba County, rehabilitation of Tali Health Center, rehabilitation of Kajikeji Hospital, rehabilitation of Yei Girls Secondary School, construction of Kinji Boarding Secondary School in Yei River County, completion of Liria and Rokon Secondary Schools, completion of local government office block in some former counties of Juba State and the county block of Lanya County, procurement of vehicles to address mobility challenge of government officials, and of course, honorable members include the leaders of the assembly. For improvement and equipment of our Equator Broadcasting Corporation, EBC, with modern facility readiness for digital migration. And I want to announce, Honorable Speaker, that already we have recommitted some resources. The equipment of EBC are on the way coming to Juba. Soon we will go digital and live. Construction of modern cabinet building for Central Equatoria State, opening up a major road network in Juba, and improve on waste management in Juba City Council, to embark on empowerment of youth and women. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, despite the achievement and activities planned as enumerated above, Central Equatoria is still being confronted with numerous challenges of a monumental proportion. Central Equatoria State is still being confronted with numerous challenges of monumental proportion that strongly demand for collective responsibility as state-led institutions, the legislature and the executive organs of this government. The mentioned challenges include, but not limited to, the following. One, insecurity in some parts of the state caused by pockets of the holdout group, especially the National Salvation Front. That has caused unnecessary displacement, instability, and both intra- and intercommunal vigency in some rural parts of the state. This senseless war is also characterized by forced recruitment of the youth. We hope that NAS will reciprocate this goodwill to resolve their grievances through peaceful means. In the same vein, I want to appreciate the efforts made by our traditional, religious, youth, women leaders for supplementing the government's relentless initiative in search for peace in the state and the country at large. I am equally grateful to community leaders in Yei for adopting the house-to-house peace dialogue initiative launched at Goja to call for holdout groups to denounce violence, stop bloodshed, and reconcile conflict-broken families. I therefore encourage the communities in the state to emulate such initiatives and efforts that are critical to building sustainable peace and harmonious coexistence. Continuous and rampant cases of land grabbing is one of the issues, perpetuated by some unruly and lawless individuals and groups, particularly in Juba County and Juba City. Here I particularly draw your attention to illegal land acquisition and use. There is huge threat of land malpractice throughout, particularly in Juba City and Juba County. The threat is all about land grabbing, as identified by perpetrators who grab lands from disadvantaged people for personal businesses or commercial purposes. Hence, it has contributed to insecurity. I applaud the efforts of our President, General Salva Kiir, for forming a high-level land committee to probe into land grabbing malpractices in Juba City and Juba County. I co-chaired this committee in my capacity as the governor, since it falls directly under my administrative jurisdiction. As you might have noted, several incidents and clashes occurred while addressing existing land malpractices. Therefore, I urge this August House to constitute a standing specialized committee on land comprising of honorable members who are well versed with land issues so that the House enacts sound legislation to regulate the land acquisition and to use to meet the aspiration of our people. One of the issues is the roaming of cattle from Jongole and previously from Tarkeka County. Among other agrarian communities in Juba, Kajekeji, and Lanya counties, inflaming conflicts and displacement of citizens resulting in acute food insecurity. I sincerely thank the leaders of Tarkeka and some cattle herders for respecting the presidential order and my order for returning the cattle to the areas of origin. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, as all of you are aware, in early April 2015, His Excellency the President Salva Kiir issued a Republican order directing all cattle to return to their areas of origin. This followed an outcry by our farmers over destruction of their farmlands, intimidation, and killing perpetuated by heavily armed cattle herders. I also issued gubernatorial orders on the same, reinforcing the order of the President. Unfortunately, some armed cattle herders, particularly from our sister state of Jongole, have remained defiant, thereby moving to Lobonok and some parts of Kajekeji and Lanya counties. This defiance aggravates the situation of insecurity in the state, where farmers face serious challenges as those cattle roam freely, destroy their farmlands, leaving them food insecure and being displaced from their villages due to threats posed by armed cattle herders. Nevertheless, the state, with support from His Excellency the President and other national institutions, is exerting efforts to ensure that defiant cattle and their armed herders from our sister Jongole state, who have avoided to follow those orders, are returned voluntarily in honor of our President and the state. Our President and the state orders to compulsorily leave for their areas of origin. I'm privileged to appreciate His Excellency President Kiir for extending his persistent support to the state government to enforce the return of cattle and create harmony among the people in Central Equatoria State and South Sudan at large. With the inauguration of the state legislature today, I call upon the honorable members to join hands and work hard to engage our brothers, particularly from Jongole State, to respect these orders and return peaceful to their respective areas to allow people to continue with their normal lives and embark on farming and other economic activities for sustaining their livelihood. I also hope that this August House will enact legislation that will regulate cattle movement from one place to another in order to avoid violence, clashes among the cattle keepers and the farmers, even among the cattle keepers themselves. One of the challenges is destroyed and dilapidating public infrastructure, like roads, network, schools, health centers, water resources, and etc., have derailed provision of service to our communities. Most road networks, schools, health, and market centers that were destroyed by the conflict have remained unattended to and preventing school children from accessing classes and community healthcare service falling short. The state government has taken major initiative to start rehabilitation of schools, road networks, health centers, markets, and local government houses in the 6 counties. Some of these facilities have been completed either by the state government directly or through the level of the government through the counties. Some of these facilities are on processes. We are honored as well to benefit, and on this occasion I want to announce to this August House and thank the President in particular and the national government for the approval of tarmacking construction of Juba Ye Kaya and Juba Kajekeji roads that have started, particularly Juba Kaya road, and Kajekeji will start in the next month to come. And other projects that improve infrastructure development include the Reconciliation, Stabilization, and Resilience Project funded by UNMIS and this UN agencies, implemented by a consortium of 5 organizations which are key development partners. We have to thank our partners because they are going to implement projects of not less than $10 million in Central Equatoria State about the same. Number 5 is persistent activities of organized crimes in our country, especially in Juba City, perpetrated by gangs, calling themselves Toronto Boys, niggers, and other criminals. We have taken rigorous steps to crack down these gangs. Hitherto, some of them have been apprehended and are in police custody. I'm sure you might have seen these videos, and I want to congratulate our security forces on that. The local government authorities in Juba City and the counties have issued orders equally to address the same. The other challenge is consumption of illicit, toxic, uncertified high alcoholic content spirit, narcotic drugs like bang, opium, or marijuana. Carnivores has his or cut, or what is commonly called the marungi. These have fueled crimes and caused many unwarranted deaths and mental disorder. However, these have fueled crimes and caused many unwarranted deaths, as I mentioned, mental disorder. However, the state government has banned sale of alcohol in small shops and kiosks, and certain particular alcohol, which we will give you in our details in the policy direction. We only license bars, with only those that are licensed to sell either bars, hotels, are allowed to sell this alcoholic type of drinks. Number 7, disputes over boundaries is one of the serious challenges facing the state, which are manifested in 3 categories: intrastate, interstate, and encroaching from neighboring countries. Most of the counties in the state have disagreement over internal borders. A typical case in hand is a dispute between Juba and Terkeka counties over ownership of Mangala area. The state has temporarily put Mangala under the direct administration of the Office of the State Minister for Local Government and Law Enforcement to mitigate violent conflict. Some of our counties has also border dispute with our neighboring either counties or neighboring states. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, externally, we are confronted with serious territorial encroachment in the counties of Kajukeji, Morabo, and Yei River from Uganda and Democratic Republic of Congo. However, early this month I made efforts to have a cross-border meeting once again with the Ugandan authorities of the neighboring West Nile local government districts of Uganda in the town of Moyo, in which we agreed to discourage the border communities from encroachment and conduct cross-border security patrols to improve security, free movement, and improve cross-border trade and along the common border areas. This high-level security meeting, which was attended by the resident district commissioners of Ajumani, Arua, Koboko, Moyo, and Yumbe in Uganda, and by the county commissioners of Kajukeji, Lanya, Morobo, and Yei respectively. This important meeting aimed at boosting regional relations and improving mutual security. It was as well to encourage and establish trust-building confidence in our voluntary return of our people from refugee camps. With this encouraging trend, on this occasion, I want to thank those who have decided to return spontaneously, and I want to direct all county commissioners and all the humanitarian agencies to accord them the necessary support as they come from the refugee camps. Having stated the above challenge, it is important to note that the Transitional National Constitution of South Sudan provided the country boundary stand as of 1st January 1956. Therefore, I urge all the citizens of Central Equatoria State to refrain from indulgence in inciting people on any border issue until issues are resolved amicably by the government, especially the border dispute that I've just highlighted within our state. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, I want to reassure our citizens that the state government is determined and committed to do what it takes to finding befitting solutions for resolving these challenges highlighted here. These remain our unwavering resolve as a government, and I urge the legislature to take necessary steps in addressing the same. In conclusion, as the Revitalized State Transitional Legislative Assembly opens, it should be reminded that the state operates without the relevant content of the ASIS. I think this has been highlighted by the Right Honorable Speaker. Being incorporated in the state constitution. This poses a serious challenge in the exercise of certain constitutional powers or mandates. At the onset of my administration, I constituted a committee to review the state constitution 2012 as amended for amendment. The committee is progressing well on its work in order for it to be tabled to the Assembly for enactment. The budget for fiscal year 2021-2022 and the state development plan are at the final stages of being presented as well. The time has come for us to act and to take timely decisions in giving strong leadership direction to change our state for better. Our job in this matter is to protect the interests of the people of Central Equatoria State, to ensure that we address these challenges facing our state. Finally, I wish you well in your deliberation, and I urge you to work collegially in the spirit of the RRCs and the best interests of the government and the people of Central Equatoria State. And with these honorable members, I'm exceedingly honored to declare that this session of the Assembly and the inauguration is open for deliberation. May God bless you, God bless Central Equatoria, and God bless South Sudan, and thank you so much for listening.